Hey everyone, today I'm checking out the X-Night 35. It's a freestyle drone and it has 3.5-inch props. And that's not actually a very common prop size. There's only a few props available in this size, but I think the popularity will probably grow because it's actually a pretty good size if you want to use DJI FPV and stay under that 250 gram limit. It is under that limit with an 850 milliamp hour 4S battery, so you don't even need like a tiny battery to stay under that limit. And I think that's kind of the point of this drone. So I'm going to be trying it out. I'm going to rip around these trees behind me and test the limits of this drone and really kind of find out what it can do. So stick around for that. After the flight, I'll show you a little bit up close the specs on this drone and give you some of my impressions. So if you like what I do, there is a subscribe button and a like button down below. It would be cool if you use them. And I want you to know Beta FPV did send this to me for free, so big thanks to Beta FPV. But they have no prior approval on the content of this video, and I've received no other compensation as usual. So let's get flying. Instead of playing music, I think I'll just talk about the drone now while you watch the footage, and that'll save some time. So overall, I had a lot of fun with this drone flying around these trees. If you've been watching this channel, you've probably seen these trees before. I've flown here many times with many different drones. So for me, it's a good way to try out the performance of a drone and get to see how it compares to other things. So like I said at the beginning, a lot of people are probably going to be looking at the X-Night 35 as an alternative to a heavier 5-inch drone. In comparison, the 3.5-inch drone definitely does not have the same top-end speed. It definitely doesn't have that sense of raw power that you would get from a 5-inch drone. But there are some similarities. You can chuck it over the trees. It has enough momentum to do that. You can do kind of slide turns and that sort of thing. So a lot of the same types of freestyle moves that you would do with a 5-inch, you could pull off with this. And it has enough power to pull out of dives pretty cleanly, finish those power loops, even do pretty tight power loops. And you'll see plenty of examples of that in this flight. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. And overall, it was flying pretty well. The only complaint I would make about the flight performance is that if you look really closely, it does bobble just a little bit sometimes when I am on low throttle or changing directions, sometimes at the top of a move when I flip around. If you look closely, you'll see that, and I think you could tighten it up with a bit of tuning. I didn't have time for that, so I was flying exactly the stock tune. This is the way it comes from the factory. I literally just bound it up and put my rates on there and took it out to the field. Like I said, this is the DJI FPV system. There's a Vista Air unit on the drone, and the footage you're seeing was recorded using the DVR in my goggles. So this was my view while I was flying, and I think it looks really nice. But unfortunately, this drone can only do high quality mode. It cannot do the DJI low latency mode, and that's because the camera is the Caddx Polar camera. It's locked into only supporting that high quality mode. So if you like flying in high quality, then that's not going to be a problem. For me personally, I definitely prefer low latency. It feels more immediate, it feels smoother and more connected. I always switch my DJI drones into low latency mode when I can. So the fact that this one can't is definitely a drawback. That is something you're going to have to consider when you're looking at this drone. If you're not sure, I suggest you check out reviews on the camera specifically. You can get a lot more detail. Here you can see the build up close, including that Caddx Polar camera. Vista Air unit is in the middle, hanging from the top plate. There's a 20 amp all-in-one board, 1404, 3800 kV motors, 3.5-inch props, and these little white antennas are for Express LRS. If you look in there, you can see it's kind of sandwiched between the TPU parts, and that's super cool. I'm a big fan of Express LRS. It's cheap, it works great, and I'm really happy to see bind and fly drones starting to come out with Express LRS as an option right out of the box. Overall, I was pretty happy with the build quality and this frame. It looks pretty nice, it feels pretty solid, and it has this top mount battery. I think a lot of people are going to like having that option. A lot of drones this size have a bottom mount battery, and that's fine too, but they have a slightly different feel. A lot of people like top mount, so it's cool that this option exists, and it can land flat on the ground, which is nice. It even has little pads on the bottom of the arms so that you can land on those. While we're looking down here, you can see that the arms are in kind of a wide X formation. The front arms are swept back, almost like a dead cat style, so that these props are out of view of the camera. So that's pretty cool. Although one thing I do want to point out is that the grain is entirely in the front to back direction, which means none of the arms are aligned with the carbon, and that's going to make them not as strong or as stiff as they could be, so that's kind of unfortunate. And then let's get the weight. 147 grams, that's without a battery. And that's not too bad, but it's not what I would call a lightweight build either. There's probably a lot of ways that you could save weight in the frame, in that Vista Air unit, probably lots of options. But the way it is with an 850 milliamp hour 4S battery, I'm going to get a flying weight of 248, 249 grams. So if your goal is to stay under 250, this will do it for you, as long as you don't add an action camera or use a battery that's bigger than this. If you're thinking of buying a drone like this or any other FPV gear in the near future, then don't forget that Black Friday is right around the corner. It's a great time to get gear because there's lots of sales. And if you come back to this video, then look down in the video description. When the time comes, I'll post some discount codes down there, and maybe that'll save you some money. So that's my review of the Beta FPV X-Night 35. If this information was helpful to you, then awesome. That's why I'm doing it. And I've got some more projects in the queue. So if you want to subscribe and stick around, you'll see those later. You can also follow me on Instagram if you're interested. And I end up posting on Facebook and Instagram more often than on YouTube just because it takes a lot of time to make these edited videos. So when I just have a picture or something quick to say, I'll often post on one of those. So you can follow that if you want a little bit more real-time interaction. And of course, you can also comment down on this video. I'd be happy to talk to you or answer any questions that you might have. So thanks for watching to the end of this video, and I'll see you next time.